So on this video right here, I'm going to receive a lot of backlash, but I really don't give a damn. But let's go ahead and chop it dissect this. So earlier today, I was on TikTok, right? And then I ran across this woman who I was following. And I was only following this woman simply because she made a video about what it is that I was saying about the Naziah Harris case. And it seemed as if we was in agreement to what it is that was being going on.
This video, baby. Because so listen, I'm about to play this and then I'm going to speak afterwards. Because this video that I made was made on March 7th of this year, okay? When I spoke about that number, the same number that Chosen spoke about. The one ending in 1520.
But as time progressed, I was able to make the distinguish that we is not in an agreement, and then she undermining everything it is that I'm saying.
Naziah Harris is alive. This is what a content creator is saying. Let's listen to this daggone voice recording of him allegedly being on the phone with Naziah, even though the girl is saying that she is 34 years old. The voices are very similar. Let's listen to this right now, y'all.
But that's cool. On this platform, we is entitled to our own opinion. That's your prerogative. But the problem is this. A lot of people on TikTok, they is taking conspiracies and theories and everything else, and they presenting it to the public as if these are facts. And this is one of them. She is one of those creators that presenting theories and saying that these are facts. Then following up by saying allegedly, which made me question, do you even know what the word allegedly means? But we're going to get to that in a second, though, right? So on this video, she is saying that somebody is saying that they have concrete evidence to say that Naziah Harris is no longer alive.
Harris was being talked about on a live the other day, y'all. And I'm telling y'all want to watch this and listen to this because it's a lot to it. Now, some guy was on the live where they came on there and he was basically saying that he have concrete proof evidence that Naziah is no longer here, y'all. And that he is going to be dropping it during the jury trial, which is in October. His lawyer gave him a date on when he can actually put the evidence out here, including other evidence of Naziah being advocated by the grandmother. And that other people in the family basically knew, as far as the aunts, Roxy, the person also said, this guy also was on the live basically saying how that Naziah is no longer here, and he knows this without a doubt, that the reason why they cannot find a body when it comes to her is because King and Jarvis did whatever they had to do to dispose of her body.
But the thing is this, whenever you say you have concrete evidence and you start to implement other people inside this crime, I must then question your concrete evidence simply because it's starting to sound like a theory. If you go back to my old video, we'll be able to see and trace Jarvis Butt's footsteps going from the 9th all the way up until the 11th that morning. So only thing it is that I'm saying is, at what point in period of time do we have time to implement anybody else inside this case? To me, it just don't make sense. So whenever you say certain things, it just sounds like a conspiracy to me. So then I left a comment, and that's the only thing I was just basically saying. I was just basically saying, in order for X, Y, and Z to take place, to me, it just sounds questionable. So now I'm really questioning this evidence that you say that you have. It just makes zero sense to me. But what really sparked my interest was whenever she said that she'd been on this case since day one. All right, cool. So if you say you've been on this case since day one, I am assuming that you know all the nooks and crannies whenever they come down to this case. I'm assuming that you know the transcripts. I'm assuming you know all the things that were said or presented inside this case whenever you're speaking on the case of Naziah Harris. And if that is your stance, then why is it so easy for you to gravitate or to believe that when somebody said they got concrete evidence of X, Y, and Z and they implemented other people involved, how can you overlook or undermine the actual evidence that the city of Detroit is using to convict Jarvis Butts and say that it's reasonable? It makes no fucking sense. Let's keep it a beam. So now I go on her page because I'm intrigued, because now I want to know what it is that you've been presenting whenever it comes down to this case. So then I ran across this video. So on the video right here, she used the word allegedly. So I'm asking myself, like, why did you even use that word allegedly? She was doing her research, and then she ran across some type of information, some type of proof to say that Shannon was, in fact, 16 years old whenever she ran across Jarvis Butts. And she started dealing with Jarvis Butts when she was like 16 or 17 years old.
Was 19 years old. Honestly, the family was saying that Shannon was 16 when she first started messing with Jarvis. Shannon is basically saying she was 19 when her and Jarvis started messing around and when she had her first child by Jarvis. But when I did my research, she was 16 or 17 when she met this man. Now, this is all allegedly, okay?
So I'm assuming, because you do your research and you've been dealing with this case since day one, so I'm assuming that you ran across some type of proof to stand on to say that these is, in fact, the reason why I say that Shannon was 16 or 17 years old. So I'm assuming that you got some type of proof, especially if you're presenting this case to me, and I'm an individual who really don't know too much about this case, and I'm relying on you to tell me what it is that you have, and then you presenting this stuff to me as facts. Why is you using the word allegedly? So whenever you use the word allegedly, it just simply tells me that you really don't have no facts. You really didn't run across no proof. And if you didn't have no facts, neither do you have any proof to say that Shannon was 16, 17 years old. And then it's starting to sound like you just running another conspiracy theory play on us. The word allegedly is used to convey something that isn't claimed to be the case of or have taken place, although there is no proof. So whenever you use the word allegedly, you're basically saying that Shannon was 16 years old whenever she was dealing with Jarvis Butts, but I have no proof. And if that's the case, why are you presenting this as if it was evidence? And then at the same time, I understand that you really don't know where to stand whenever it comes down to this case. And I understand that too, simply because you probably don't know what's on the transcripts. You probably don't know all the nooks and crannies whenever it comes down to this case. You probably don't know the timeline of everything. You probably don't know Jarvis Butt's footsteps as the phone is being pinged down the road and everything else. It's a lot of things about this case that you probably just don't know. And that's the reason why you really don't know where you stand on this case. One moment you're saying Naziah Harris is alive. Next moment you said that she's not alive. Another moment you running with a theory that somebody else is saying about Naziah Harris' case that you really don't know anything about or anything of. And I'm only saying this because, again, according to your words, you said this man insinuated that you have no relationship, no affiliation, or no relations of any sort with this man that you're getting this information from. But because it sounds good and it fit along with just another conspiracy that you running on, this is what you're going with. I mean, come on now, let's stop playing games, y'all.